Cosmic Genesis Chronicle Chapter 9, following the Elder Wizard, the two men passed through a series of magical corridors until they reached the innermost recesses of the Temple of Elements. A massive stone door stood silently, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. "This is the treasury of the Temple of Elements," the Elder Wizard said. "It contains countless precious magical tomes and treasures, including the method to decipher the Eye of the Void. However, the treasury is also fraught with danger, so you must exercise caution." Kalen nodded and said, "Don't worry, Senior, we will." The Elder Wizard waved his staff, and a beam of light shot towards the stone door. It slowly opened, revealing the treasury's interior. The treasury was filled with a myriad of magical books, scrolls, crystals, and gems. It was like a magical version of Alibaba's treasure house, shimmering with dazzling light. "Oh my god! This is too much!" Kalen exclaimed, feeling as if she had entered a dream world. With so many treasures, if they could just give away a few, they'd be rich enough to rival an entire nation. Serafina, on the other hand, seemed calmer. She whispered, "Kalen, don't just stare at the treasures. We need to find a way to break the Eye of the Void first." "That's right." Kalen quickly put away her greedy gaze and began searching the treasure trove. The two searched for a long time, finally finding a manual titled Elemental Purification among a pile of ancient scrolls. The manual described an ancient magic that was said to purify all evil, including the Void Curse. "That's it?" Serafina exclaimed excitedly. "This elemental purification is the solution to breaking the Eye of the Void." Kalen quickly took the manual and began to peruse it carefully. The manual contained complex spells and hand gestures, as well as various techniques for harnessing elemental energy. Learning this elemental purification was no easy task. "Serafina, do you understand everything in this manual?" Kalen asked. Serafina nodded and said, "I understand most of it, but some parts are more profound and require careful study." "All right, then, let's study the elemental purification technique here and strive to decipher the Eye of the Void as quickly as possible," Kalen said. The two began studying the elemental purification technique in the treasury of the Elemental Temple. Serafina explained the manual's contents, while Kalen integrated the mystical martial arts and magical secrets to create a more powerful force. As time passed, Kalen and Serafina's rapport grew stronger, and their control over the elemental forces grew more proficient. The power of the elemental purification technique gradually became apparent. At the same time, Kalen could sense that the void curse within him was gradually weakening. The dark force that oppressed him was gradually being purified. "It's working. Elemental purification really works," Kalen exclaimed excitedly. Serafina, also beaming with joy, said, "Looks like we'll soon be able to completely eradicate the void curse." Finally, after several days of effort, Kalen and Serafina had mastered elemental purification to perfection. Their bodies radiated a holy light, as if blessed by the elements. "Now, it's time to eradicate the void curse." Kalen took a deep breath, sat cross-legged on the ground, and began to practice elemental purification. Serafina stood beside Kalen, waving her staff and releasing powerful elemental energy to help cleanse Kalen of the void curse. Kalen's body began to tremble violently. He could feel a dark force slowly being peeled from his body. The sensation was like removing a branding iron from his skin. It was excruciatingly painful. "Ah!" Kalen couldn't help but let out a scream, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Serafina looked at Kalen with heartache, working even harder to release elemental energy to ease Kalen's pain. With Serafina's help, Kalen finally completely eradicated the void curse within him. The dark power transformed into a wisp of black smoke and vanished into the air. Kalen breathed a sigh of relief, feeling a sense of relief. He stood up and stretched his muscles, feeling his strength even greater than before. Moreover, his understanding of the laws of the universe had deepened. Success. "I've finally eradicated the void curse," Kalen exclaimed excitedly. Serafina beamed beside him, her beautiful eyes filled with admiration. "I knew you could do it." She stood on tiptoe and gently patted Kalen's shoulder, her touch as gentle as brushing a piece of snow from a petal. "Of course." Kalen raised his eyebrows proudly, his nose nearly twitching to the sky. "Don't you see who I am? I'm going to be the pirate king of the universe, ahem, the guardian of the universe." The older magician stroked his beard, looking at the young couple with a pleased smile. "You two are truly the best of the best. In all my life, this is the first time I've seen such talented young people. I'm sure the future of the universe will depend on you two." "Senior, you're so kind," Kalen said modestly, but his heart was beaming. It felt so good to be praised by a powerful figure. Serafina bowed gracefully and said, "Senior, we would also like to thank you and the Elemental Temple for your help. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to eradicate the void curse so quickly." "You're welcome. This is what we should do." The elder magician waved his hand and said, "However, don't be too happy. Although the void curse has been eradicated, I'm afraid a greater crisis is about to come." The smiles on Kalen and Serafina's faces froze at this. They knew the elder magician was referring to Omega. "Senior, are you talking about Omega?" Kalen asked, frowning. The older magician nodded and said solemnly, "Yes, it's Omega. I just sensed an extremely sinister energy fluctuation, far more powerful than the void curse. I'm afraid it's the power of Omega. Far more powerful than the void curse." Kalen gasped. He had personally experienced the horror of the void curse. Its power was like a leech, lingering on his bones. And Omega's power was even stronger than the void curse. How terrifying would that be? Serafina also paled. Although she hadn't personally experienced the void curse, she could feel the oppression of that evil energy, a fear that emanated from the depths of her soul. "What is Omega?" Kalen couldn't help but ask. The older magician shook his head and said, "I don't know much about Omega. I only know he's an ancient evil god with terrifying power capable of consuming the universe. It's said he's destroyed countless civilizations and is an extremely dangerous being." Destroyed countless civilizations. Kalen's heart sank. He had thought that if he could eradicate the void curse, he'd be able to live a happy life. Unexpectedly, an even greater crisis awaited him. "What should we do then?" Serafina asked panickedly. "Don't panic, you two," the elder magician soothed. "While Omega is powerful, he's not invincible. As long as we work together, we can surely defeat him." "Work together?" Kalen gave a wry smile and said, "Senior, you think too highly of me. I'm just an ordinary interstellar explorer. How could I possibly stand against an evil god?" "You're no ordinary interstellar explorer," the elder magician shook his head. "You possess a unique power that blends fantasy and magic. You are the hope of the universe." "The hope of the universe?" Kalen was stunned. He felt the burden on his shoulders suddenly become incredibly heavy. At that moment, an even more powerful energy wave emanated from the depths of the galaxy. This energy wave was even more sinister and oppressive than the previous one, like a giant mountain, crushing Kalen's breath. "Here it comes," the older magician's face paled, exclaiming, "Omega is coming." Kalen and Serafina also felt the terrifying energy surge. They looked up into the depths of the galaxy, only to see a pitch-black shadow rapidly spreading, as if threatening to engulf the entire universe. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed in Kalen's mind, filled with evil and temptation, as if emanating from the depths of hell. "Kalen! Kalen! Give up! You are no match for me. Join me. You will gain eternal power." Kalen's body began to tremble violently. He could feel his consciousness being eroded by the evil force. Countless visions surfaced in his mind, filled with temptation and terror, overwhelming him. Kalen! Kalen! Wake up! Serafina called out anxiously, shaking Kalen's body desperately, trying to rouse him. But Kalen's consciousness had been completely taken over by the evil force, and he couldn't hear Serafina's call. His eyes turned blood red, and a sinister grin spread across his face. Ha ha ha. Power. Eternal power. Here I come. Kalen muttered to himself, his body radiating black energy, as if transforming into a sinister puppet. Serafina's heart ached at the sight. She knew that if Kalen fell under Omega's control, the entire universe would be doomed. No. I can't let you be controlled by Omega. Serafina gritted her teeth, a gleam of determination in her eyes. She knew she had to stop Kalen, even if it cost her her life. Serafina took a deep breath and began to channel the magical energy within her body. Her body radiated a dazzling light, like a burning sun. She would use her magical power to awaken Kalen's consciousness. Kalen! Wake up! Have you forgotten our agreement? Have you forgotten you still have to protect the universe? You can't be controlled by Omega. You must hold on. Serafina shouted at the top of her lungs, her voice filled with love and hope. Serafina's call was like a flash of lightning, shattering the darkness in Kalen's mind. Kalen's consciousness gradually returned. He saw Serafina's face, filled with worry and love, and his heart trembled violently. Serafina, what's wrong with me? Kalen asked with difficulty, his voice filled with weakness. You were controlled by Omega just now? But you're fine now, Serafina said excitedly, hugging Kalen tightly, fearing that he would be controlled by Omega again. Kalen rubbed his brow. Omega's affectionate whisper had almost ruined his integrity, turning him into a dark, evil god. Thank goodness Princess Serafina loves me, otherwise the universe would have ended prematurely. Oh my god, is the evil god so skilled? He almost killed me with one roar. Kalen was still terrified, feeling like he'd just been to the gates of hell. It was thrilling, but he almost lost his life. The elderly magician next to him nearly ripped several strands of his beard out. The evil energy just now nearly shook his old bones apart. This young man is so arrogant. He just escaped a disaster and already he's thinking about becoming the pirate king of the universe. Oh no, guardian of the universe? Serafina rolled her eyes at Kalen, her Tsundere aura fully revealed. Humph, if you dare to be so easily deceived again, I will lock you up in the dark room and confiscate all your delicious food. Kalen immediately raised her hands in surrender. Queen, spare my life. I won't do it again. Despite the fuss, her sense of danger was still strong. That scoundrel Omega is like the final boss before a final exam. If you don't level up and defeat him quickly, you'll have nowhere to cry. Senior, we plan to delve into the multiverse and search for clues to the origin of the universe, Kalen asked sternly. Do you have any suggestions? The older magician stroked his beard and pondered. The multiverse is vast and boundless, with countless civilizations. You must proceed with caution and avoid being reckless. Remember, respect the cultural customs of every civilization and avoid being self-centered. Kalen nodded, understanding. The multiverse is not a global village. A single mistake could spark an interstellar war, which would be a real commotion. By the way, Senior, do you know anything about the multiverse? For example, are there any particularly bizarre civilizations? Kalen asked curiously, her curiosity burning. The older magician's mouth twitched at this, clearly taken aback by Kalen's word bizarre. Still, he patiently spoke, the multiverse is home to numerous civilizations, each with its own distinct form. Some champion technology, others embrace magic, and still others, well, are quite unique. How unique? Kalen pressed, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. For example, there are civilizations where everyone is plant, communicating through photosynthesis and walking on roots. There are also civilizations where everyone is gas, able to shapeshift and travel between stars. There are even civilizations where everyone is digital, living in a virtual world and feeding on code. The elderly magician spoke slowly, as if recounting a series of bizarre fairy tales. Kaylin was stunned, her mind pounding. Holy crap, this is so exciting! This is like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy VIP edition. Serafina couldn't help but exclaim, "This is incredible. The multiverse truly lives up to its reputation." All right, you two, that's all I have to say. The rest of the journey is up to you. The older wizard waved his hand, signaling they could leave. Kaylin and Serafina bid farewell to the older wizard and embarked on their journey into the multiverse. They boarded a starship, traversing the interstellar space, seemingly entering a wondrous world of infinite possibilities. Hey, Serafina, what do you think What civilization will we encounter first? A plant civilization? A gas civilization? Or a digital civilization? Kaylin asked excitedly, rubbing her hands together like a child about to open a present. How do I know? Maybe, a civilization filled with Q2D girls. Serafina teased, a hint of a smirk on her lips. Kaylin's eyes lit up at that. Shit, that's possible. If such a civilization really exists, I'll give her the title of Pirate King, oh no, Guardian of the Universe. Serafina laughed so hard she nearly fell off her chair. You're so audacious. Just as the two were flirting, the starship's alarm suddenly sounded. Warning. Warning. Unknown energy fluctuations detected ahead. Suspected wormhole. Kaylin and Serafina's faces fell, and their playfulness ceased immediately. Wormholes, passages connecting different universes, are fraught with uncertainty and danger. A single careless move could lead to being sucked into the turbulence of space-time, forever lost in the multiverse. What's going on? A wormhole? Kaylin asked, frowning. Analyzing. The results show that the wormhole's energy is unstable and could collapse at any moment, the starship's intelligence system replied. Fuck you. Are you kidding me? We've just set out and encountered this. Kaylin couldn't help but curse. Could this be the proverbial death before success? Kaylin, calm down. We must get out of here as soon as possible. Serafina said calmly. As a princess, she was still reliable in critical moments. Leave? Where to? There's a wormhole ahead, and the void behind. Are we supposed to run naked? Kaylin said unhappily, feeling like fate had teased her. Maybe, we could try entering a wormhole. Serafina hesitated, then said. Enter a wormhole? Are you crazy? It's a life or death situation. Kaylin's eyes widened, feeling that Serafina was simply playing with her life. I know it's dangerous, but we have no other choice now. Instead of sitting and waiting for death, we might as well give it a try. Serafina said firmly, her eyes gleaming with determination. Kaylin met Serafina's eyes and knew she meant it. He sighed and said, okay, since you've made up your mind, I'll go crazy with you. That's more like it. Serafina smiled with satisfaction, then gave the order to the starship's intelligence system, full speed. Target, wormhole. The starship plunged into the wormhole. It felt like riding a roller coaster and being hurled into a washing machine on spin mode. Kaylin felt like her internal organs were about to shift, her head buzzing, and her vision was a blur. Ugh. This is so sour, I can't believe it. If I'd known wormholes were so exhilarating, I should have brought a barf bag. Kaylin's face paled as she clung to the wall, barely keeping her balance. Serafina was no better. Her tsundere image was gone, and she clutched Kaylin's arm tightly, her face scrunched up. I never want to ride an interstellar roller coaster again. This is worse than a meeting of the elders of the Arcane Council. After finally getting through the dizzying period, the starship finally stabilized. Kaylin rubbed her temple, gathered herself, and looked out. Wow! This place, it's so bright, it blinds my titanium eyes. Before them lay a shimmering, crystal clear world. The entire planet was composed of a variety of giant crystals, reflecting a dazzling array of colors under the sunlight. It resembled a gigantic discotheque, a luxuriously customized one. Is this the Crystal Clan world? It looks even more glittering than I imagined. Serafina exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. The starship slowly landed on a vast crystal platform. The hatch opened, and Kaylin and Serafina stepped out. Welcome to the Crystal Clan world, guests from afar. A clear, cold voice echoed, metallic yet ethereal. Kaylin looked in the direction of the voice and saw a creature composed of pure crystal slowly approaching them. The creature had a humanoid outline, but without facial features. Its body was completely transparent, and a strange energy flowed within, emitting a soft glow. It resembled an exquisite crystal sculpture, imbued with mystery and elegance. I am Kryll, the guide of the Crystal Clan world. I am pleased to meet you. The crystal creature said, its voice still cold. Kryll, hello. I'm Kaylin, and she's Serafina. Kaylin said politely, but inwardly she was muttering, these crystal people, their voices echo, it's like they're singing at a karaoke bar with the reverberation off. I know why you're here. You're seeking clues to the origin of the universe, Kryll said calmly, as if she already knew their purpose. Yes. We've heard that the crystal people have a profound understanding of energy, so we've come to visit them, Kaylin said, thinking to herself, these crystal people are truly amazing. They even know everything we're thinking. It's like they can read our minds. We, the crystal people, feed on energy and live in crystal. Our understanding of energy may be of some use to you, Kryll said. Please follow me. Kryll turned and led Kaylin and Serafina deeper into the crystal city. Along the way, Kaylin and Serafina witnessed the unique civilization of the Crystal Tribe. Here, there was no hustle and bustle, only tranquility and harmony. The Crystal Tribe harnessed the properties of crystal, harnessing energy to its fullest potential, creating a wondrous world imbued with both technology and artistry. They saw massive crystal energy towers, constantly converting cosmic energy into nutrients for the Crystal Tribe. They saw ingenious crystal machinery automatically maintaining the city's operations, and they witnessed the Crystal Tribe's unique method of communication, transmitting information and emotions through crystal resonance. This is like the energy version of the Matrix. They've mastered energy. Kaylin exclaimed, deeply impressed by the Crystal Tribe's wisdom. Serafina was also deeply impressed. They've mastered the use of energy to an unparalleled level. If those old men in the Arcane Council could come here and learn a little, they wouldn't be so obsessed with power and profit. Finally, Kryll led Kaylin and Serafina to a vast crystal palace. The palace was completely transparent, flowing with pure energy and emitting a soft glow. This is our energy core and the source of our crystal race's wisdom, Kryll said. You are free to explore here. Perhaps you will find the answers you seek. Kaylin and Serafina entered the Crystal Palace and immediately felt a surge of powerful energy, bringing a sense of well-being. They closed their eyes and quietly absorbed the energy, trying to comprehend something from it. Kaylin activated his mystical martial arts and magical secrets, attempting to resonate with the Crystal Palace's energy. He discovered that the Crystal Clan's understanding of energy was completely different from his and Serafina's. The Crystal Clan pursues the purity and stability of energy, viewing it as a tool to be manipulated for survival and development. Kaylin and Serafina, on the other hand, prioritize the fusion and transformation of energy, seeking to combine different energies to create even greater power. So that's it? They pursue the purity of energy, while we pursue the fusion of energy. That's the difference between us. Kalen suddenly realized something, feeling his understanding of energy deepen. He began to experiment with incorporating the Crystal Clan's energy purification philosophy into his own power system. He discovered that by purifying his energy, he could better control his power, preventing it from spiraling out of control. This feeling is like adding high-grade gasoline to an engine. More power, smoother operation. Kalen exclaimed excitedly, feeling his power reach a new level. Serafina was also diligently studying the Crystal Clan's energy manipulation techniques. She discovered that through crystal resonance, she could better control the power of the elements and unleash even more powerful magic. If I can master this crystal resonance technique, I won't have to laboriously chant spells anymore. I can just snap my fingers and unleash forbidden spells. Serafina declared triumphantly, her Tsundere princess aura reassuring. Just as Kalen and Serafina were immersed in their studies, the entire Crystal Clan world suddenly began to violently shake. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? Kalen exclaimed. No, it's not an earthquake. It's an elemental invasion. Kryll said solemnly. A powerful elemental force is invading our world. At the mere mention of elemental invasion, Kalen felt her adrenaline surge, more energetic than if she'd drunk 10 cans of Red Bull. Elemental invasion? Sounds like fun. Serafina, are you ready to do some serious work? Show these elemental noobs what true power fusion is. Serafina had been lost in her imagination about the crystal resonance technique, but upon hearing Kalen's words, her proud expression immediately tightened. A mere elemental invasion, and you dare to act so arrogantly in front of this princess. I'll burn them to ash and freeze them into slag. The two men rubbed their hands, eager to fight, as if they were about to rush out and challenge the entire elemental plane. Kryll observed their high morale, and a hint of relief lingered in his cold voice. Thank you, guests, for your willingness to help. This elemental invasion is no small matter. The invaders appear to have mastered a unique elemental fusion technique, surpassing the power of ordinary elemental creatures. Elemental fusion technique. Kalen's eyes lit up, instantly piqued. Oh, sounds interesting. Serafina, it looks like we've met our match this time. But no matter, we can have a chance to compete and see whose fusion technique is superior. Serafina rolled her eyes at Kalen. Tisk, what's there to compare? My magical talent is cosmic level. Their fusion technique, no matter how impressive, is child's play. Despite their bickering, the two men knew deep down that this elemental invasion was no joke. Following Kryll out of the Crystal Palace, they were immediately shocked by the scene before them. The once crystal clear Crystal Clan world was now shrouded in chaos. From the sky, countless elemental creatures swarmed like locusts, obscuring the sky and blocking out the sun. Their forms varied, some ablaze with flames, others emanating an icy chill, turning the entire Crystal Clan world upside down. Oh my god. This scene is like the Singles Day shopping festival, with demons and monsters from every dimension rushing out to buy. Kalen exclaimed, his tone tinged with exaggerated humor. What shocked Kalen even more was that these elemental creatures had actually mastered a special fusion technique. He watched as a fire elemental and an ice elemental fused together, forming a completely new creature, the ice and fire two-headed monster. Half of this two-headed monster burned with blazing flames, while the other half was covered in thick frost. The two distinct energies blended seamlessly, emanating a terrifying aura. This is a world of ice and fire. Is the Crystal Clan world turning into a sauna? Kalen couldn't help but grumble. Serafina, we have to be careful. These guys are tough to deal with. Serafina also realized the seriousness of the situation, put away her arrogant expression, and said seriously, "Humph, even if they confuse, so what? In the face of this princess's absolute power, everything is a paper tiger." She formed hand seals and chanted something. A powerful burst of magical energy instantly erupted, forming a massive ice wall in the air, blocking the path of the two-headed monster. The two-headed monster roared, and both heads simultaneously spewed out flames and cold air, fiercely slamming into the ice wall. Boom! With a loud bang, the ice wall instantly collapsed, shattering into countless fragments. Oh my god! So powerful! It seems these guys are really not to be trifled with. Kalen exclaimed. Serafina, we need to change our strategy. We can't just go head to head. I don't need your advice. Serafina said proudly, forming hand seals once again. An even more powerful surge of magical energy erupted, forming a massive firestorm in the air that enveloped the Eden. The firestorm swirled wildly, unleashing terrifying heat, attempting to incinerate the Eden. However, the Eden remained undaunted, its two heads simultaneously spewing flames and cold air to counter the firestorm. For a moment, ice and fire intertwined, crackling and distorting the entire space. Oh my god! This is a battle of ice and fire magic. The special effects are even more impressive than a Hollywood blockbuster. Kalen exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. However, Kalen wasn't just watching the show. He knew full well that Serafina alone would struggle to defeat the ice and fire twin-headed monster. He activated his profound martial arts, focusing his strength in his fists, ready to deliver a devastating blow. With a flash of his body, he appeared behind the twin-headed monster like a ghost, and slammed his fists into its back. Bang! With a resounding bang, the twin-headed monster's body shook violently, its two energies becoming entangled. Ouch! The twin-headed monster screamed, its body teetering on the edge of collapse, clearly suffering heavy damage. Great opportunity. Kalen's eyes lit up, and he activated his profound martial arts again, preparing to deliver the final blow. However, at that moment, something unexpected happened. The twin-headed monster split again, transforming into two separate elemental creatures, a fire elemental and an ice elemental. Oh my god! This is even possible. These guys are like Transformers. Kalen exclaimed, barely believing his eyes. The split fire and frost elementals, though weakened, were more agile and more formidable. They attacked Kalen from both sides, one on each side. Kalen quickly dodged, but the flames from the fire elementals still caught the edge of his clothing. He looked down and saw that his clothing had instantly turned to ash. Oh my god! So powerful! This fire is even hotter than the Samadhi true fire. Kalen exclaimed, groaning inwardly. Serafi, seeing Kalen in distress, Na quickly cast a spell, sending a massive cone of ice slamming down on the fire elemental. Unable to dodge, the fire elemental was struck by the cone, its body instantly frozen. However, the frost elemental seized the opportunity to attack Serafina, sending a wave of icy air that froze everything around her. Serafina, be careful! Kalen exclaimed, quickly activating her mystical martial arts, attempting to rush to her rescue. At this critical moment, Kryll suddenly struck. The crystal energy within its body instantly erupted, forming a powerful barrier that blocked the frost elemental's attack. My two guests, I'll handle these invaders. Your mission is to find the source of the invasion and prevent more elementals from entering our world. Kryll's voice came in a cold, resolute tone. Kalen and Serafina exchanged glances, both understanding Kryll's meaning. The most important thing now was to stop the elemental invasion, not to tangle with these creatures. Alright? Kryll, I leave this to you. Let's find these guys' lair. Kalen said, and with a flash, he took off with Seraphina, heading deep into the Crystal Clan world. The two of them sped along, dodging the swarms of flying elementals, and soon arrived at the heart of the Crystal Clan world. Here, they discovered a massive crystal crack, from which elemental energy continuously flowed, forming countless elemental creatures. Found it? Looks like this is the source of the elemental invasion. Kalen exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Seraphina, are you ready to wreak havoc in heaven? Let these elemental bastards see what true power is. Humph, I can't wait. Seraphina said proudly, forming hand seals. A powerful surge of magical energy began, ready to surprise the elementals. Kalen, this time we're going to show these guys that crystals can get heat stroke, too. Kalen rubbed her hands together, staring at the crystal crack shimmering with colorful light, excited like a child about to open a Christmas present. Is this the entrance to the depths of the star's core? Wow, this color, this texture, it shines brighter than Tiffany's diamonds. Seraphina rolled her eyes and tugged at Kalen's shirt. Hey, could you please be a little more serious? This is the most sacred place in the Crystal Clan world. Can you please stop acting so clueless? Hey, princess, aren't you getting too excited? Think about it, the star's core. It's the heart of the planet. Maybe there's some incredible treasure hidden within. Kalen chuckled, oblivious to Seraphina's sarcasm. Kryll, watching the two of them from the side, a hint of helplessness crossing his cold face. My dear guests, the depths of the star's core are no ordinary place. They're filled with powerful crystal energy that can affect one's mind and soul. Be prepared. Don't worry, Kryll. Our mental strength has been tempered through countless trials and tribulations. Mere crystal energy won't scare us. Kalen assured, patting her chest. Seraphina also raised her head proudly. Humph, my magic can control souls. Crystal energy is nothing compared to me. Kryll nodded, saying nothing more. He simply reached out and gently touched the crack in the crystal. A rainbow of light instantly enveloped the three of them, and a powerful suction force swept them into the crack. With a flash of light, Kalen found herself in a strange space. There was no up or down, no left or right, no time or space, only an endless expanse of crystal energy. This crystal energy flowed slowly like liquid, emitting a soft glow that illuminated the entire space. Floating within this crystal energy were countless crystal fragments, twinkling like stars in the night sky, captivatingly bright. Wow! This is a crystal lover's paradise. Kalen exclaimed, eager to pounce and take all the crystal fragments home. I say, can you please show some self-control? This is a trial ground, not a place for scavenging. Seraphina rolled her eyes again, a hint of disdain in her tone. Hey, princess, you're right. Trials are important, trials are important. Kalen scratched her head awkwardly, forcing herself to turn her attention away from the crystal shards. Just then, a voice suddenly echoed in Kalen's mind. Welcome to the depths of the Star Core, trial taker. To gain true power, you must pass the test of your heart. The voice, ethereal and distant, like a call from an ancient time, echoed continuously in Kalen's mind. Oh my god. What the hell is this? Is this the will of the Star Core? Kalen exclaimed, looking around but seeing nothing. Don't panic, Kalen. This is a spiritual test. Feel it with your heart. Seraphina's voice echoed in Kalen's ear, a hint of solemnity in her tone. Kalen took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and focused on the crystal energy around him. Gradually, he felt his consciousness begin to blur, as if merging with the surrounding crystal energy. Suddenly, images flashed through Kalen's mind. He saw his past, his future, and countless parallel universes. He saw himself as a child at the orphanage, being bullied. He saw his excitement at first piloting a spaceship. He saw the thrill of meeting Serafina. These images flashed through Kalen's mind like a revolving lantern, leaving him overwhelmed. What is this? Is this my memory? Kalen exclaimed, trying to control the images, but finding himself completely powerless. At that moment, a voice echoed in Kalen's mind again. Trial taker, if you want to gain true power, you must face your greatest fear. Only by conquering your fear can you transcend yourself. As the voice rang out, Kalen's mind suddenly flashed with the image he most hated. He saw Serafina lying in a pool of blood, covered in wounds and barely breathing. No. No. Serafina! Kalen cried, wanting to rush to her rescue, but found himself bound by an invisible force, unable to move. Kalen, leave me, go. Serafina's weak voice pierced Kalen's heart. No. I won't abandon you. I must save you. Kalen roared, struggling desperately to break free. At that moment, a voice echoed in Kalen's mind again. Perilous, are you really willing to give up everything for her? Are you really willing to sacrifice your dreams for her? Kalen's body trembled violently. He knew the Star Core was testing his resolve. If he chose to abandon Serafina, he would gain immense power, but he would also lose the person most important to him. No. I won't give up. I must save Serafina and realize my own dream. Kalen said firmly, his eyes gleaming with an unyielding glint. Very well, Perilous. Your determination is commendable. But the true test has only just begun. As this voice rang out, a pitch-black space suddenly appeared in Kalen's mind. This dark space was filled with endless negativity. Fear, anger, sadness, despair, every negative emotion surged towards Kalen like a tide, threatening to consume him. What is this? Is it my inner demon? Kalen cried in horror, feeling his spirit begin to crumble. Perilous, to gain true power, you must conquer your inner demon. Only by purifying your mind can you control the universe. The voice echoed again in Kalen's mind. Kalen took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. He knew that if he allowed these negative emotions to consume him, he would never pass the trial. He closed his eyes and began to activate the mysterious martial arts within his body, concentrating the power in his dantian. Gradually, his body began to radiate a golden light, dispelling the surrounding darkness. My heart is as solid as a rock, unmoved as a mountain. Let the winds blow from all directions, I remain unmoved. Kalen silently chanted, striving to maintain his composure. However, those negative emotions, like maggots in his bones, clung to Kalen, constantly eroding his spirit. Kalen felt his consciousness grow increasingly hazy, as if he were about to be lost in endless darkness. Just then, a warm light suddenly illuminated Kalen's heart. He saw Serafina, smiling at him, her eyes filled with encouragement. Kalen, don't give up. I believe you can succeed. Serafina's voice echoed in Kalen's mind, giving him immense strength. A warm feeling welled up in Kalen's heart. He knew Serafina would always be his strongest supporter. He could not let her down. He must conquer his inner demons and gain true power. He took a deep breath and activated his mystical martial arts to its full potential. A golden light erupted, illuminating the entire pitch-black space. Negative emotions melted away under the golden light, like ice and snow meeting the scorching sun. I am who I am, a firework of different colors. A mere inner demon dares to block my path? Get out of here! Kalen roared, his mental power instantly bursting forth, completely dispelling all negativity. The pitch-black space instantly collapsed, and Kalen felt his consciousness return to his body. He opened his eyes and found himself still enveloped in the crystal energy, but his heart had become profoundly calm. A voice echoed in Kalen's mind. Congratulations, Perilous. You have passed the trials deep within the star core and gained true power. As the voice echoed, Kalen felt his body swell with strength, as if he could control the entire universe. He knew he had completed his transformation and become a truly powerful being. Serafina looked at Kalen, her eyes filled with relief. She knew Kalen had triumphed over herself, becoming a stronger person. I knew you could do it. Kalen chuckled and squeezed Serafina's hand. Come on, princess, let's go see what treasures lie deep within the star's core.
Let's stop reading the novel here. See you in the next chapter. Please follow us.